Hi everybody, this is Sarah. Today we're going to talk about Chiron. Yet another heavenly body is going retrograde. We're going to talk about Chiron going retrograde. Chiron is going retrograde on July the 15th, 2021 to December the 19th, 2021, and this will impact all signs. This is going to be my take on the astrology, a little bit of information about Chiron, and then we're going to look at the lessons per sign. If you do want to skip ahead, there is a timestamp in the description box below, but be sure and watch both your sun sign and rising sign for this. So as I said, this is my take on the astrology, and because of that, it may not resonate with everyone. And if it doesn't resonate with you, no worries, just pass it on by, and I do hope you find what you're looking for. If you want to know more about Chiron, I have a video here, and I'll link it below as well, that goes into more detail about the mythology surrounding this heavenly body. I'm going to keep it brief on this video so we can go into more detail per sign. So Chiron is going retrograde, joining Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. You can watch videos on what Jupiter and Neptune retrograde mean for you here. Also links below as well. It seems like that's a lot of heavenly bodies in retrograde, but it's not as bad as you think. It's not going to be as stressful as even, say, Mercury retrograde for most people, because all of these bodies retrograde annually, so this energy happens every year. Chiron isn't a planet, it's an asteroid, but it's huge. It's almost planet-sized, and it's aptly called the Wounded Healer because it was named after a centaur, Chiron. While the centaurs were violent and savage, he was the most famous for his wisdom and his knowledge of medicine. Chiron represents the deep sources of pain, suffering, and wounding in our life. It represents our deepest wounds that take a lifetime to heal. Centaur, Chiron, was famous also because he helped others to mend their hearts and feelings, but he isn't known for fixing the stuff in his own life. See, wounded healer there. Also, Chiron was called something else in Egyptian astrology, but it was very much understood that this is an important astrological happening. Currently, Chiron is in Aries, which means that it's highlighting pain from our childhood or our youth. When he goes retrograde, we have the ability to tap into our wounds and learn acceptance. We'll work on dealing with the issues from the past that are currently affecting our present situation. And you may not think that that's an issue. You may think that, things that happened in the past stayed in the past. And if you healed them and processed them, true, absolutely. But if you didn't, like 99% of the people out there, then you're still carrying them, and they become a filter for how we look at the world. This is a great time for healing and letting go of what isn't in alignment with us anymore. Use this time to identify what things in your life aren't aligned with your authentic self, your higher self, and what pain you're holding on to and what needs to be worked through. We can use tools such as journaling and meditation, and then we can make the necessary adjustments. If you don't allow time for this healing, then you can expect the wounds to come forward on their own to be healed, and probably at the worst time possible, because that's the way this stuff works, right? Also, the day a planet goes into retrograde and then direct, again, are the power days to watch, a time where we can work with this energy much easier. So if you can schedule some downtime on those days, that would be July the 15th and December the 19th. If you can mark those days and maybe take off work or take a half a day off to just kind of journal or work through some of the pain, I think that would be really wise. Something else that is really helpful too is going through family photo albums and looking at people maybe you knew when you were young, or maybe your ancestors that you didn't know that had already passed on, because that will also help ground this healing energy into the correct lineage. And if that's not possible, then no worries. You can definitely journal and meditate through it. Also, taking the time to speak with someone you trust is highlighted too. Okay, so here is how each sign will deal with this energy. And as I said, also watch your rising sign too. Aries. Childhood issues, romantic relationships gone bad, your secret fears. Yeah, these are all going to come up during this alignment, and it's offering you a chance to heal all of this and more. But to heal the past, you have to acknowledge the pain you carry in your heart and sort out your emotions. When you do, you'll become the best version of you. Focus on deep healing during the cycle and fearlessly acknowledge the pain that you're carrying. This cycle isn't about woulda, shoulda, coulda, if only I'd done this, and regrets. It's more about acknowledging what happened. Even if you're unclear on why you made the decisions you did, own them. Own them and look at the lesson behind them if there is one, and acknowledge your pain around the circumstances and, of course, what happened later on. For Taurus, this cycle is about alone time. You're going to want to be alone a lot more. You're going to want to lessen the distractions around you. Your normal fun-loving self will be more introspect as you draw back to childhood issues and ghosts from the past. The good news is there has never been a better time to do this healing work. So if there's something that you've been holding on to that you didn't want to address, now is the time. You are more than up to it. So take time out to work on healing these wounds, and your friends will understand. Just let them know, you're working through some stuff, and you'll see them later on. Gemini, this is going to be tough for you as well. I would suggest you have a reading done, you book an energy tune-up, or you take a self-help class to help with this time. All of these activities will help you sort through the emotions that will come up during the cycle. And you may have moments where you feel great and normal, and then all of a sudden you're almost knocked off your feet with memories from childhood or pain that you can't identify too. So it's important also for you to connect to your community during this cycle. Ring up old friends, ring up current friends, and tell them what's going on with you. Tell them that you're going through some stuff, and ask them how they are, and have a real honest conversation. Gemini is a good listener as well, so you can expect people also to be coming out of the woodwork to talk to you. You need people to talk to sort out these emotions, almost like a debriefing. You need someone to bounce ideas and reactions off of. And so I recommend doing that during this cycle. Cancer, workaholic? Sure, but you can't escape this cycle. There's been a lot on your plate for years now, and the thought of one more thing is just too much, and I totally understand that. But overworking during this will not alleviate the pain that's going to come up. Make time to do this deep healing of childhood issues, or it will come up at the worst possible time. You can do this healing now. You are mentally and physically prepared. You're ready. Even if you don't feel like it, you can, and you can handle this. What you work through during this cycle will empower you for years to come. So this is tough work, but it's very valid. And it's something that, as I said, you are more than capable of handling now. Who you were before 2020 even isn't relevant to who you are now. You've got this, and you can do this. Leo. Leo is usually a very open sign, except when it comes to personal pain. Yeah, they hide that pretty well. It's time to be honest with others and share your childhood challenges. You need people to bounce ideas off of, just like Gemini. But also, in your storytelling, you will go one step further. And not only will it help you heal on a deeper level, it will also help others know that they too can survive, which is really important. Sometimes we feel isolated and alone because we think we're the only one that went through something or is going through something currently, because people don't usually talk about things like that. But it's time. It's time to be open and talk about the past and talk about the past pain. And I think for Leo, it's been coming up for the last couple of years anyway. And you've been healing it by degree, but now is the time to exorcise those demons, heal those wounds, and get past it. Virgo, stop dismissing your emotions and accept your feelings. You've been trying to analyze everything. You've been trying to look for validation for why you're feeling the way you are. But honestly, you don't need outside validation. Doing the work now will help you get a better understanding of your triggers and why you make the decisions you do. Self-care is needed during this cycle, as well as a loving heart. You are moving away from pain and into a new chapter of your life. Use this time for deep healing so you don't drag the past forward with you. You've got this. You're more than capable of doing it. Don't second guess yourself. Libra, this alignment is going to bring up childhood issues and the need for personal boundaries in your life. Your issues from the past are shaping your relationships, and not in the way you want. Your unconscious behaviors, which are left over from childhood, are wreaking havoc with the relationships that you want to nurture and grow. And this covers friends, family, and romantic. Address the past now, or carry it forward with you into your next relationship. This could be a great time for spiritual growth if you allow yourself the time and the space to heal. Once again, Libra, you've got this. You can do it. You're more than capable. You have lived through the worst of it. Now you just have to reconcile it. And I think you know that as you unpack this, there's a lot of mixed feelings from your childhood. There were some good times, there were some bad times, there was some rage, there's some anger. All of that is normal. It doesn't make you a bad person. And that goes for all the signs. Having those feelings doesn't make you a bad person. It's what you do with the feelings. And to make sure the feelings don't get out of hand and don't end up controlling you, that's why we need to heal them. Scorpio, your childhood doesn't define you. Now is the time to take inventory and release any pain, non-productive habits, or beliefs that no longer suit you. You're not a child anymore. You're not the person you were even in 2020. So why are you letting this define you? You have all the tools now you need to free yourself from the past. Do the work. Meditate, journal, spend time in nature. Give yourself space, time, and TLC, and you will make it through this. That life is just about to open up for you in the most miraculous way. Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, this energy is about not standing in your own way. Get that new project off the ground during this cycle, while letting your analytical mind focus on this new project, sort it out, do what's needed to do. Your subconscious will be working away on childhood issues. Expect this inner work to show up in dreams and flashes of insight. It will be easier for you to handle if you do acknowledge it rather than trying ignoring it or pushing it away. Sagittarius is usually a very freedom, fun-loving, adventurous sign. But during this time, you may slow down quite a bit because you will be more introspective. Capricorn. Capricorn, now is the time to reconnect with your past and get to know where you came from. This will help you feel more stable and grounded during this cycle. Even looking over past photo albums or online looking at, distant relatives, it's okay to take the time off and to look at that and to really see the similarities or the differences between you and your ancestors. We all have things in common. And I think that during this time, if you don't push yourself too hard, if you don't try for that perfection, that this will be an easier cycle for you. You've been doing this work bit by bit anyway for the last 3 years. So I think that now you're more than capable of healing and moving forward. Aquarius. You know that one habit your family did that drove you crazy? Well, I think you've begun doing it to people you care about yourself, and you may not even be aware of it. So instead, why not just tell people how you feel? Clear the air with honest discussion during the cycle. Listen and be present with everyone, because people are going to be coming to you as well to vent for guidance and also just for a friend to talk to. Listen and be present. Don't judge it, and just allow it. By listening to these people, you will also get clues and insight into your own childhood. And truth, even if it doesn't line up with your own, is still truth. And I think that not only will you have a major healing during this time, but also you will facilitate it for others. Pisces is going to have a tougher time as well. Look through old photographs and pictures of your family and ancestors. Meditate, journal, and understand how far you've come. The emotional wounds that you felt from your youth may resurface during this time. So rather than feed into that, look instead on how much you've changed and grown. You're not the same person you used to be, and you have nothing to feel insecure about. If you do feel unsure of yourself, then work on finding the deepest wound and begin healing there. So this is only one alignment that will be happening from July 15th to December 19th. If you want to know more about this and how it will affect you, I suggest you get a personal reading. I'll put some sort of special out there. If you write me, put my email address up here. And if you write me and say, hey, I want this reading, I'll put together a special or something for you to cover this time or how Chiron is going to be affecting you. I think it's going to be very powerful, but I think it's also something that's very needed. This is like ripping the Band-Aid off so that the wound can heal. Now we just have to further process and integrate what happened. And I know some of those things were horrible, horrible things that happened to people, but you survived them, you're still alive, and now it's up to you. Are they going to define you? Are they going to define the partners you choose? Are they going to define your career? Are they going to define who you love? Do you want them to have that much power over you? Probably not. I know I sure don't. So that's why it's really important to do this healing now. You can email me and I'll put together a reading special for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks to the patrons for making this video possible. If you found it helpful, please give it a like and be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for the next video. Reiki blessings. Bye-bye.